Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Hope you guys are having a great day. And we are here on Friday, December 27th. And boy, it's going to be a great weekend coming up. And I hope you guys are having a great day, folks. We got a great show today. I'm excited. My great singer in the Chicagoland area, James Libera, will be joining us very shortly here, folks, on Ocean's Pit. Guys, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show. Every show is dedicated to the first responders and everybody in the military and veterans. Thank you for what you're fighting for our country, for keeping it great again. And but mostly it's also dedicated to people like you who take the time and watch the show every day, Monday through Friday at noon on all 5 different social media outlets. You're watching it live right now on the Tony Ocean Show Facebook page. We're on the Mo Carraro Facebook page. We're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. We are on X, formerly Twitter, and we're on also the Ocean's Pit Facebook page. This is Ocean's Pit, brought to you by our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and Mesa, Arizona. U-Haul Rentals at all their locations. They're here for your moving needs, personal, business, small loads. They have you covered. Take advantage of the auto key program at all their stores. They program CarCut keys up to 50% less than the dealership. Visit the help out to speak to a certified team member. Also, they have indoor and outdoor decor for 30% off, and a lot of holiday displays on sale as well. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. It's showtime. Let's go to work. Bye. Thank you, good buddy Dino Manzella from Seventh Heaven. Hey, guys, it's Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. First of all, I want to thank everybody that showed yesterday. Of course, my co-host on Thursdays is my lovely wife, Laura Ocean. Wednesdays and Fridays, we have guests on. Tuesday, it's Twisted Tuesday with Carol Brandolino on Tuesdays. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching the show last night. Close to another 2,000 views, and you guys are just unbelievable. Thank you for all your support. Guys, thank you everybody that showed up to Villaggio last night in Roselle. I want to thank the Main Event Band. I want to thank Danny Ramundi. I want to thank Double T, Tony Toto. Great job. And it was great seeing my good friend Kathy Splatro from Arizona showing in with Laura Mizzi and all the crew. Thank you guys so much. Great seeing Jeff Hunt yesterday, also from Seventh Heaven. Thank you, Berto and Edgar. They do an incredible job over there. Ron Starr stopping by and doing some songs last night. We did have a great job. I want to thank my good buddy Richard Hamlin and his family for coming by last night too. So thank you guys so very much for that. Tonight we'll be kicking off my 62nd birthday bash weekend. It starts tonight at Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg with Jerry Jams. That's at 8 o'clock. And then tomorrow is the big one. December 28th is actual on the birthday. I'll be 62 years old, but we got the Main Event Band. We're going to have Mikey D, Danny Ramundi, Tony Toto, Jerry Jams. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of people stopping by. My sister Tanya Carraro, great vocalist. Louis Pipes will be joining us. Kim Peterson LaFew will be joining us. We have my good friend Christian Knievel, of course, will be joining us as well, the daughter of Robbie Knievel and this granddaughter of Evel Knievel. John Vincent from the Chicago Cubs, Main Event Man. You know him, man. The national anthem. You'll be joining us, and a lot more people will be stopping by. It's 8:30 at Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy. It's 8:30. Hit oshows.com. They don't have too many tickets left, but I hope you guys can join us. And that's going to be tomorrow on the 28th. Let's get to another sponsor. How about my good friend Mary Grievous? Mary Grievous from all your real estate needs, buying or selling a home. Mary's a lady for you, the perfect real estate professional, whether you're putting your home on the market, looking for your dream home. Give her a call today. She's available to buyers, for sellers, by owners, expired listings. Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate. That's M. Grievous at starkre.com, or give her a call at 630-688-1725. That's Mary Grievous, and she'll be helping to sell and buy or sell your home. And so you guys are looking to buy a home, Mary is the perfect one for real estate needs. Also, if you're talking about Mary Grievous when it comes to real estate, you have to talk about Mary Grievous with the NTD Vacations. And when you talk about NTD Vacations, you're talking about the Chicago Music Cruise 2025. Number 2, folks. Now, we just did one in January with over 7,000 people, but this one is going to be even better and bigger. It's Royal Caribbean Cruise Line Oasis of the Seas, March 22nd to March 30th, 2025. It's going to be 8 days, spring break, Fort Lauderdale, Aruba, Carousel, and Coco Key, Bahamas. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait, folks. How about the entertainment on this cruise? Mojo's Jukebox, My Rock Band, Tony Ocean and the Main Event Band. We're going to have Jerry Jams, Tony Toto, and Ron Starr on that cruise, folks. How about Scott Chillers from WGN, Frankie Hollywood Boom Boom Rodriguez from GCI, Wendy Thompson with her tribute to Britney Spears and Marilyn Monroe, the Jersey Girls, all 3 of them, all 3 will be on that ship. And let's not forget Hillbilly Rock Stars, the #1 country band in the city of Chicago. And last but not least, Seventh Heaven. They're the guys that put it all together, folks. That's March 22nd to March 30th. Go to ChicagoMusicCruise.com, put in Tony Ocean, or call Mary at 630-688-1725 and say, hey, I want to go on the ocean with Ocean. And it's going to be a lot of fun in March 22nd to 30th. 8 days. And on the port, instead of having 6 hours, there's going to be 8 hours on the port. So 2 extra hours on all the Griffin ports. And it is a lot of fun. And when we get to do this, it's my second one with a Seventh Heaven, but we've been performing on cruise ships for a long time with the Ocean's Rat Pack. So a lot of good stuff. And I hope you guys can join us. James Libera coming up in a few minutes, folks, here at Ocean's Pit. Little show about big things Monday through Friday at noon. How about the chat? Let's see. Robert the General. Dennis from Lake Geneva. How you doing? There's Jerry Jams. Kathy David. How you doing, buddy? Kathy Apolito from California. Chicago Honey Bear. Patrice. Boy, they really need you, Patrice, and those honey bears. Albert Richard. Great seeing you last night and your family, my friend. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. There's Nina, everybody. God, you guys are watching. Let's get to some stuff real fast. Our prayers go out to our good friend Michael Sansone's mom has passed away. Michael is from Arizona, originally from Elmwood Park, the Chicagoland area. His mom passed away, so our prayers go out to the Sansone family. Horrible when stuff like that happens, folks. Also, guys, let's not forget about the Tony Ocean, Danny Nozak food and clothes drive. We got bags and bags and bags. We're going to go out and help feed and clothe the homeless on the 29th, this Sunday. Now, we've been getting stuff. You can bring them at the Tony Ocean shows. You can bring them tonight at Prime or tomorrow at Chicago at Ronald Estes Club Arcata Speakeasy. But Sunday morning, or you can go to the Tiny Tap House in Lamont and drop off some stuff there. Also, you can go to Gigi's Are We Live, and you can drop off the clothes there. But on Sunday at 11 o'clock, we're going down on Wacker Drive and handing out these clothes for the homeless and whatever we can get for these guys. We got coats, we need hats, scarves, gloves, blankets, whatever you got. They need to go to these homeless people, folks. They really need it here in the Chicagoland area. So a lot of good stuff. Guys, one more commercial, and then we're bringing up James Libera, everybody. So let's get to one more commercial. Our good friends from the great Jack Avena Landscaping, folks. If you're looking for landscaping and you want it done right, those are the guys, folks. They offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring, fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing, weed control. They offer plant design service and installation, gutter, fall cleanup, and much, much more. Servicing the North Shore for 44 years. Call Tommy at 847-432-5266 and tell him Tony O sent you. That's Jack Vena Landscaping. All right, guys, we have different artists, different people on the show. We like bringing all sorts of people, no matter what kind of jobs they do. We have celebrities, we have politicians, we've got entertainers, we've got everybody that comes on the show, and we really do appreciate it. We're going on our 5th year. Believe it or not, we started during the flu or COVID. It depends on how you look at it, March of 2020. And Monday through Friday. So we do appreciate you guys all watching, and we're having a good time, and I hope you guys are too. So let's bring up our next entertainer, folks. He plays in the Chicagoland area for many, many years. He's a man of different voices, everything from jazz to opera to George Michael and pop and rock and country. He plays all over the place. He's a good guy and a great singer. So we're going to bring him on up today. So let's bring James Libera, everybody. Let's see how he's doing. James, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Tony. How you doing?
Good, Pally. Good afternoon. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. You can say Merry Christmas to you, right? You don't get offended by that.
No, Christmas. I prefer it.
Okay, me
Merry
too.
Christmas.
You got to be cool. So where are you at right now? You look very cozy back over there. Is that your home? What's going on? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, this is my desk, more my office, where I do things, record and spend most of my day.
James, let's start from the beginning. James, where were you born, buddy?
Downers Grove.
Downers Grove, Illinois. Yeah. Very cool. Mm-hmm. Do you have a big family, James?
I do. Well, I have one older brother and 2 older sisters.
Okay. And anybody in the family who influenced you? Was anybody like grandparents? Anybody that was singing or entertaining that brought that to you, or did you see it someone on TV? Where did it all come from?
My father. My dad was a singer. And, we would hear him crooning in the garage or singing in the shower every so often. He really didn't share too much or kind of get into like I guess he was disappointed because, the lifestyle can take over you a little bit. And he was in Vegas and playing, and he had opened for Liberace at one point. And he had some situations where, man, he was just like, I couldn't sleep anymore, and had to come home and stay at home with his mother for some months just to get back on the rhythm of having a good lifestyle again. I think it can, so that's why I don't know. He didn't share a lot of that type of stuff with me, but he did tell me about, singing and the influence of Frank Sinatra and Perry Como and all the greats. Mario Lanza, he was a big fan of him. So.
Well, it's kind of great to have influences from your family, because when you were growing up and knowing that the musical influence was involved in the family, sometimes when people try to make that choice to try to do it full time and not full time or whatever it is, sometimes it's hard to get the support. My mom was always, okay, no problem. Go ahead. You can do it. When I left my dad's bakery at Ganella Baking Company, what? You're going to do what? You're leaving, $34 an hour to do what? You're an idiot. You know what I mean? James, did you get support from your family?
I did. You know what? At first, I would sing a lot, and I was in rock bands, in high school, and I don't think they thought I could make a living doing it. At least my mother, was more like, "Oh, James, you got to find yourself a real job," was the term.
Yes.
And I did teach choir at Pacific Garden Mission for almost a decade. I was down there downtown doing that, and then I would still be in bands on the weekends on the side. But once that ended, their budget started to drop, so the music department was the first thing they cut. Myself, the piano player, were let go, and I just bought a PA. I went to Modern Music in Lisle, little plug for them, because I did a rent to own on a PA, and I just went inside the garage and started rehearsing and put together a show. And then I did my first show. I think I was let go on the 23rd of March, and my first show was at Super Rosa on the 5th of April.
So how long you been doing this now, James?
Since 2013, full time.
So you know what? And it's a great thing. Now, we all know it's changed. I've been doing this now 35 years full time, and it's changed drastically. Before, at one time, James, the entertainment was the thing at the lounge or the restaurant, or it was the thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, now then, and it was all, and it was still was until Chicago won their first championship. I don't know if it was the Bulls or the Hawks. I think it was the Bulls. And then all of a sudden now sports became the thing, and then entertainment went down, and then the restaurant entertainment. Just like in Vegas, if you were in the lounge acts, the name was up there, and then your name went down, and because I was there for 8 years at the Riviera.
Oh wow.
But then it became, $9.99 all you can eat buffet was up on the marquee, and
Yeah.
singer's name was all the way down on the bottom. And the things have changed. What changes have you seen, James, since you've been doing it and since you started?
I've seen a lot in terms of the bands and solo artists. Like that's the reason why I started doing a solo performance, is just because I was in bands since high school.
Sure.
And the budget of the bands, when the budget started to drop, it made it hard to do it full time, and then stay in a band. So I still do the bands if I can, on more of a part-time basis, I would say,
Sure.
and book the majority of my own shows as an
Yeah.
individual, because the budgets for all these venues are not what like you mentioned, they're not where they used to be. So it just makes more sense for me to do a solo show, a lot of the
Yeah.
gigs that I do.
Yeah.
But I miss playing with the bands. I really do. I enjoy it.
I miss it too. And I would say maybe 50-50 with the band and the track. The tracks is a great thing. It also is a
Yeah.
bad thing. You can't, when you got a band, you can loosen it up a little bit. They can slow it down. They can pick it up.
Yeah.
They, get move. You got the camaraderie of the guys behind you.
Yeah.
When you're by yourself or when you got another guy with you, you're kind of just limited to what you can play and what you can do. But I remember when I first heard about the backing track. Now they've been using the backing track, James, for years in
Yeah.
music. I mean, ELO was doing it in 77 when they did their big tour. So people have been using it. And I remember when I really started using it when the Las Vegas, the musicians went on strike. And I remember seeing Michael Bolton, his first two records, he was a rocker before
Yeah.
he turned into, baby, that's what love is all about,
Yeah.
the rocking stuff. And he was playing with tracks. It was just him and another guy on piano, and he had all the tracks. You heard all the other instruments. There was only two guys
Sure.
up on the stage. But it changed. Do you obviously you like playing the band better, but do you like playing the tracks too? I like it. I enjoy it.
do.
Yeah.
I do. I know what I like about it as a singer, Tony, the freedom that you have. I can learn a song in a day. If I hear a song that I haven't heard in a while or put on a record, because I'm a big fan of playing records still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll hear a song and I go, ooh, I want to learn it now. And a band, I'd have to get approval from everybody, and they're like, the tuning's not right, or I have to get an extra guitar just to tune to that song or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it'd be a big thing. Whereas I can download the song right now and have it in my show tomorrow if I wanted to.
Yeah.
That's the big advantage. So in a way, as a singer, it's an advantage. And I used to watch when Sinatra came out of retirement, he did Madison Square Garden, and all you saw was the circle, the stage, that circle. The orchestra and the band was down below, and it was him just walking that circle by himself. And that's what I picture myself doing when I'm alone, when I have my tracks playing or I'm doing my own show. I picture that they're somewhere. They're there somewhere.
They're somewhere.
Behind the curtain. Feel like that. You know what I mean? I have to feel like that somehow, that it's okay to do that and just soak it in, I guess. Is that, but the freedom of it is what I love. I really like the freedom of it.
Jim, since you do so much variety of stuff too, I mean, from jazz to country to pop to opera and then George Michael and all that stuff you're doing, you have any trouble memorizing lyrics? I'm brutal with that.
I would say this. If I love the song, no. Once I get the idea of the song and I do the pattern of the story it's telling in my head, then I get it fine. If it's a song I'm struggling to learn for someone else, let's say, or I'm learning the song for popularity reasons,
sure,
like it's on the radio or something.
Yeah.
Then it's harder for me to, every once in a while I throw people's names in a song. I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
fun
I
with
do
the
that too,
audience.
and I've got the I've got the I mean the teleprompter thing, and people have been using it for years. I've been doing
Sure.
it too for certain songs and stuff like that. But you know what? And that's what I mean when you're by yourself. You only have to worry about yourself. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Our good friend James Libera, great entertainers in the house. How about another quick commercial, folks? Let's talk about our good buddy from Airtight Windows. If you're looking for windows and you want it done right, do it right with Airtight. For honesty, quality, dependability, do it right with Airtight. Serving Chicagoland area for 35 years. Do it right with Airtight. Call Louis Pipes at 708-798-5000 and tell him Tony O sent you. That's Airtight Windows doing it right. James Libera. James, do you have a favorite type of music? If you had just one
Ooh,
style, what would it be?
that's hard. That's so hard. Ah, See, I like everything from heavy metal to crooner stuff. So I'm all over the board. I would say as far as my favorite entertainer that I would watch, watch would be Elvis Presley, just because he had so much charisma up there. Um, the favorite person on the mic, you're gonna laugh, but Barbara Streisand. When she would be on the mic and talking to people, and her comedic timing was so on point. But I would say favorite music. What's crazy about jazz and that type of music is it. When I started learning it, when I started doing this full time, I'm like, it's such a happy. It put me in a good mood. It always put me in a good mood. Just the way that the music moved and the lyrics and stuff. So I would say if I had only one genre, it would be like the crooners, the great crooners, like Dean Martin,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra, those guys, because I know I could listen to that and be in a good mood all day.
All the time, yeah. And then certain jazz. Another problem I had when I had the bands all the time, you had certain entertainers, certain musicians that can play the rock stuff but can't play the Sinatra jazz stuff.
Yeah. Oh
Then you
yeah.
had the guys that were great jazz guys but couldn't rock for shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like,
I know.
so when the tracks came, it was like, whoo! I can just, like you said, you can go from a country to jazz to pop to whatever.
Yeah.
The George Michael thing, when I seen you first doing that, or at least I seen it up on social media and stuff.
Sure.
Here's a guy, very talented songwriter. What made you? Why him?
That's a good question. I think there was I was working at a country club, and one of the woman who was booking me at this country club said, "You know who you? I think we do tribute shows here." She said,
Okay.
"We have a Whitney Houston tribute coming. We have
Yeah.
another tribute, this Elvis tribute that they did." She
Yeah.
goes, "I think the tribute shows are big, and we could do it in the banquet room and sell tickets." And she goes, "I think you do a good George Michael." And I go, "Really?" And I never learned any of his stuff. I mean, I knew of him. My sisters would listen to,
Sure.
Wham when I was
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? After his passing and watching the documentary of him and started to learn a little bit more about his life, I said, I'm going to give it a shot. I started to learn the music. And it's all styling, like learning the little things that he does, the breathy tones that he has. And it took time. I didn't want to put it out too soon. And I kind of rushed it when I first did it.
Okay.
But it's gotten more comfortable. I think the reason why I wanted to do it is just because the challenge. It was
Yeah.
fun to try something
Yeah.
completely out of my scope.
Right. And you're trying to, and one thing when it comes to entertainers like us, we have to try to reinvent ourselves as much as we can. It gets
Yeah.
kind of difficult at the time. But then you look at guys like Elvis, George Michael, Michael Jackson, the life that those guys had. When someone comes up to you, James, and "Hey, what are you going to do if you ever make it big?" Well, the way I look at it is we're doing this full time for us. We kind of made that level already.
Yeah.
We're doing it. But I don't know if I can take that. When I got to Vegas in 2000 and we were getting a lot of, I was getting myself and, my head was a little out there, maybe drank a little too much, maybe a little with all that shit, what I was doing at the time. So I was getting a little crazy. So I
Yeah.
don't think that I could have I don't know what would have happened to me if I ever got to that level. What about you? Can you think you can handle all that?
I
If
don't,
that
what I used to
happened?
tell myself, well, why hasn't it happened yet? That kind of thing. And I thought maybe God didn't have me ready yet. I agree with that. The idea is that if you put yourself in a position that you couldn't, that was too much for you or overwhelming, um, and I think maybe in the back of my mind, I think that was what happened to my father, is that the drinking was, everything was free, with free access to everything,
Yeah.
especially
And
when
I
you're in
mean,
Vegas.
and I mean everything was
Yeah,
free.
yeah,
Forget just the alcohol back then. I don't know if
exactly. I
anybody
know,
got
right?
into that stuff, but it was all there. And you know what? They
Yeah,
didn't care. Give them whatever they want. As long as the room is packed, give them whatever they want. You
exactly.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's the hard part. That's the hard temptation part of it, is that everything's free. But I think, comparing us to, say, somebody who has more of a day job in a cubicle, or like that maybe see the same group of people,
sure.
we've learned over the years to work with meet so many different people throughout the years, and adjusting to what they like to listen to, or kind of reading the room. Um, I think now I'd be much more mature about handling it than I was when I was in my 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my 20s, I probably would have been exploded my head and
Yeah.
jumped into everything,
Well,
but
I'm still learning because I fuck up sometimes too. So I mean, I'm still. I mean, you figure after all these years, it's just sometimes it does. It's to get out and do that for a living every day, and then you're doing sometimes the same stuff over and over. You just get to the point where it gets a little tough, but you got to keep going. Now you were talking about different vocalists that you like. Barbara
yeah,
Streisand, for instance, for a
yeah.
while when she first started, I guess she had to sing with her back to the audience. She was scared. Do you ever have that stage fright at all?
I used to. I remember when I started. Gosh, this was like I was 20 years old, and I was singing in church every week, every Sunday. The pastor was like, "Oh, you can sing," because I sang, "Amazing Grace." One time in his office, we were playing guitar. He was playing guitar, and I'm singing, and he wanted me to do it every week. And behind the pulpit, my knee was shaking like nonstop, because I'm thinking it's early for me, as singers, and early in the day or in the morning, I usually kind of warm up by
Yeah,
5, 6 o'clock. You
sure.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I was real nervous. Now I'm not anymore. I don't get nervous anymore. The only time I get nervous is if I'm sick, or if I'm not feeling well, because I
Okay.
know what they expect from
Right.
hearing me, and I don't want to disappoint people. I think
Right.
that's the only time I really get nervous now, is when I feel like I'm not at 100%.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Also, sometimes when I do get nervous, it's a new place I've never played before. You're walking in
Yeah.
with a new crowd, a new whatchamacallit. I still get a little jitters there. So all the great music. I mean, the songs that we're singing are songs that were hits 50, 60, 70, whatever years
Yeah.
ago. People 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, Motown, rock. I mean, we're doing a little bit of everything. With the music of today, James, I don't see it 20 years from now going, boy, do you remember that song by Carney B or whatever the hell that is?
No.
Do you see that too?
I agree with you 100%. I don't see that happening. I think, to the way that the phones and the way that things are now, everything is kind of it's here today, gone tomorrow. Like, it'll be on the radio a bunch, to a
Yeah,
point where you're like, oh, this is too much,
yeah,
and then you don't hear from it anymore.
yeah,
Whereas the old songs, you'd have a record, or you'd have a CD or whatever you would play it on, and you would listen to it over and over and get the feel of the music, and you'd listen to the whole album, not just the one
one
song.
song. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
so
That's,
I
that's
think
yeah.
that just because of the time that we live in, I think it's not going to be the same as it was. Um, and I just don't see it. I think that people put more into the music back then now than they do now. A lot of it's done with computers, and you know,
Now you can make somebody who doesn't have a great voice and actually make them sound really good, at least in the studio. You know what I mean?
yes, you're right,
It's interesting.
100%.
James Libero is with us, folks, here on Ocean's Pit. James, do you have anything you do prior to go sing? You do any vocal mama mimis? You do any of that kind of crap? I mean, I don't. I just have a shot of Jack and my day is ready to go. So how do
You
you?
know
What
what?
do you do? Do you do anything?
I do if I'm not feeling great. I had a friend when I was singing with Anchors Away this summer,
Yeah,
and Jimmy O'Connell, great singer.
yeah.
He sent me a link to a vocal warm up, and I
Okay.
never did them.
Yeah, yeah. No.
All that stuff. I would just sing a jazz song like "Fly Me to the Moon" or something on my way to something that's in the like a lower register, where I'm not belting too hard,
Right.
that I could do smoothly, or anything Nat King Cole, on my way to the show, and then I'd be warm by the time I got there.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
I'd start the show with, say, 5 songs that I knew were like in that realm that I could
yeah.
keep without going up too high and
Too high.
fluttering it.
Right,
So,
right, right.
but
James,
there was
yeah. So being in this business, when it comes to relationship wise, now some people who know that follow me know I'm on wife number 4. So it's got to be difficult. How, when you date somebody, first of all, when you're dating somebody and it's serious, you can't do anything on the weekends, whatever they got going on. There's no
Yeah.
birthdays. You can't do this. You can't miss weddings. You got blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah.
it's got to be hard for someone to actually go, okay, to accept that. And that's got to be difficult, whether you're a man or a female, when you get into this field. And sometimes you lose relationships because of that. But what gets me is like I remember my second wife going, do you realize you married me knowing what I do for a living?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, they think you're going to change, and it's got to be difficult. Do you ever find that when you have certain relationships?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, now I keep a lot of that private too. I also notice audience members, that, may make comments here and there or whatever. It's like, for me, I keep it completely private. I used to put everything out there, and
Yeah.
it just seems to be working better for me. And, I've been divorced once,
Okay.
so I know. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through that again, and when I was married, she knew that I wasn't doing it full time like I am now. I wasn't in bands, and I had a full-time job.
Sure.
So I was working 50 hours a week, and then I would do that on the weekends. So talk
Yeah.
about never being around,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and if
yeah,
they're not involved in lifestyle,
yeah,
they didn't like to go to the clubs or whatnot and go
yeah,
see the performances,
yeah.
then it's like you're living two separate lives,
Right.
and that's what made it hard for me, and in my relationship with my
It
wife.
makes it makes a lot of sense because you're right. Like you said, now on the weekends, now you're going with your band. Wait a minute, what about me?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like,
exactly. Oh yeah.
it's a little crazy. All right, so let's talk real fast. March 2020, you put the TV on. Some people call it the pandemic. Some people call it the flu, whatever the hell it was.
Oh yeah.
Everything is shut down. You can't perform. You can't sing, even though it's almost 5 years ago. James, what were
Yeah.
you thinking when you first heard that news?
I thought 2-week vacation at first. And I was like, okay,
Bingo.
all right, 2-week vacation. I'm like, I'm gonna relax at home. And then after the 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, my child support's still coming out, my bills are still due. And then when the month was up and the month's into it, all my savings is going towards just paying my bills. Now I'm
Yeah,
in trouble.
yeah,
So I started doing live streams,
yeah.
and put the little PayPal link, and people were so generous. If people were in a position where they weren't hurting, or maybe were retired and had an income coming in, or they had a business that was online, let's say, and they didn't have to
Sure.
necessarily go to work,
Yeah,
those people were very generous through those hard times. And then I was doing shows in my backyard. Once the CDC released that we could have up to 50 people outside, I would list, hey, I'm doing a show in the backyard. Anybody, want to be a part of it? And I named it. I think what got me the idea was a girl that I was dating at the time bought tickets for Mozart by candlelight in the city.
okay.
So it was only 40 people that were allowed to be in this room, but the tickets were $100 each.
All
So
right.
I'm looking around the room and I'm like, there's 40 of us here. I'm like,
Hmm.
that's a lot of
Ching.
money for
Yeah,
1 hour. And then
yeah,
another crew comes in and
yeah,
replaces us. And I'm like,
yeah.
bells started going off. And I'm like, man, I've got a wooded backyard. I told people bring their blankets, bring a bottle of wine, make it like, like
Like
you're,
Ravinia.
exactly,
Make it like the
exactly.
Ravinia. Yeah.
And I
And you know
called it,
what? And James, I don't know if you were playing. We were down for 2-3 weeks, but then the places that we were working at put tents in the parking lots, so we were still doing shows. And we even did shows in Wisconsin, which did not close.
wow, okay.
Florida did not close, but we did. Most of the gigs that I had a parking lot. They put a giant tent and they separated everybody from the whatchamacallit. But it was so weird because then, and I mention this a lot of times, but when it comes to different point of view from different entertainers, and
Yeah,
then they made you get whoever got the shot. We never did, but people did do because they thought this is what they were supposed to do. But then, even though they got the shot, and then they gave you that little card that people were getting supposedly, and
yeah.
I asked people, did anybody ever come up to you and says, can I see that card before you walk into this? But people said they've never happened.
No.
It was like
Yeah.
so crazy. And then remember, James, you would appreciate this because you were an entertainer and musician. Everything was shut down, but Lollapalooza was coming to Chicago. So our mayor, governor said, we can open it for 4 days and let 50,000 people in a day. That was
Yeah.
okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Wrigley Field, there was only certain parts of the seats where you could sit. But Guns N' Roses is coming in for 2 days. So let's bring them in and leave everything open. So it was
The
really
money.
giving you that right. I mean, it was all about the money, and it really kind of freaked a lot of people out too. Because wait a minute, how can you do that? But you can't, and you can do this, and you can that. But it really did hurt the music business, and that's I think if we were in bands, thank God that we can do our solo stuff because we can still do it ourselves, and you didn't have the other five guys you had to worry about.
Yeah.
Four guys, you know what I mean?
It was tough. It was tough. I'm glad to hear that some of the venues were still open for you.
They were still
You know,
open for me, which I was very shocked. But Wisconsin didn't close at all, so it was like,
yeah.
well, whatever. But like I said, hope something like that doesn't come back. Yeah, James Libera is with us, folks. James, you going into 2025? What do you got? Anything new in the mix? Something that you can talk about? Anything that you're going to be throwing out? Something new?
I'll be doing a show at Kai's Steak and Seafood for the New Year's Eve.
Cool.
That's in Glendale Heights. So other than that, January kind of slows down a little bit for us. That's when
Okay.
we can go on vacation
There
or
you
go
go.
do something. And then at Johnny Cabs every third Thursday, I'm there.
Very
But I've
cool.
been doing a lot of I don't know if you do a lot of private events. I've been
We
doing
do
more
get a lot
private
of those.
events over the last year and a half, I think, than I've done ever before. I don't list them when I do them, but the
Yeah.
private shows are the ones I really, really enjoy because the people they're hiring you to come in and they're already excited. They know you from seeing you somewhere else, and
Yeah.
it's really fun to come play a
And,
lot of
and
those type of shows.
right. And the best thing about it, James, you don't have to worry about filling the house. It's a
Exactly.
gig. You
Yep.
don't have to, damn, there was only, this much today and not this much.
Yeah.
So I do love the privates, and the privates always end up paying a lot more for
They do.
entertainers than they
They
do
do.
when you are in the lounge thing. 2025 is going to be different. Do you see the people coming out to see you, James? What's the age? Do you see younger people coming out now, or do you still like with me? The older people are still coming out, but and
Yeah.
one thing, they're the drinkers because the young people aren't
Yeah.
doing it anymore. The older people
No,
are the
you're
drinkers.
right. They're the drinkers and the tippers.
Yeah,
I'd say 50 and older is probably my main crowd. I do
well,
get 30s, 40s. A lot of people bring their families with their
yeah,
daughters and their
yeah,
sons.
yeah,
That's always fun to see them go out and dance and interact and have a good time at a show like that.
yeah,
Um, when I was doing the country band, it was all 20-year-olds.
yeah.
Is it just a different audience?
Different audience completely. Different
And
animal.
as you know this, Tony, you could play in front of 2,000 people that are like all, dollar beer drinkers, you know what I mean? Or you could play in front of 50 of the right people and the money's way different, you know?
And we don't want and listen, we don't want to mock the flannel, whatever, the beer drinkers, whatever it is,
Sure.
because that's
Yeah.
what they do. But you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. It's a whole different frame of mind. And even for the nightclubs that you're playing at, some are different. Some people won't go to that nightclub because, hey man, it's a little too pricey compared if I go to this place. I'll see them at this
Exactly.
other place where I can afford a little bit more. So
Yeah,
it is, you get a different variety of different people coming in, which is absolutely right.
sure.
James, is there, before I know you got to go, buddy, and we got a couple more questions here for you. You're playing your gigs, you're looking down at that set list, and there's that one song, I go, oh shit, I got to do it. And you don't want to do it. Is there any of those?
Yeah.
I mean, I asked all the entertainers. Basically, it's basically all the same song, a lot of people. But is there one on that list that you just don't want to do, but you have to?
Well, oh gosh, there's a couple. There was a guy that came up and tipped me. He says anything from Journey,
Okay.
and anytime I go Steve Perry, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be fun,
Yeah.
because it's not. I'd say there's like five or so songs that I know that I could pull off, but there's some that I don't even want to attempt you know.
There's about 4 or 5 that I do in my shoe too, and there's some that I can't get it. But when I know, I see, I don't do Sweet Caroline. I can't stand the song,
I
but
was gonna say, but I
yeah,
do that one, but
yeah,
that one's always requested. It's crazy.
all the
People still love it.
time, all the time. It's like, oh, so what I've been doing is I let the Neil Diamond sing the verses, and I just sing the chorus. So I
Okay.
have the real Neil Diamond, or I'll have someone come up from the audience. Here, you know the words, and you sing it. You know what I mean? I'll sing the chorus with them. It's a hell of a lot easier that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
we are fortunate for what we do, James, and thank you for doing what you're doing, keeping music alive. If they want to book James Libera, how do they do that?
JamesLibera.com,
Okay.
LIBERA.com, or they can contact me at 630-544-1030.
And James, do you have any of your own original music? Do you write music too on your own, and do you do any of that?
I did. You know what? I want to get back into that, Tony, because I miss it. I think I was doing that early on, and the bands I was in high school were all original bands, and we do
Mhm.
a cover here and there.
Yeah.
But what happened was I started seeing, I went to go see Modern Day Romeos and met Jimmy, and this was years ago. And I was looking at the audience and the money that they were making, and I'm like,
Bingo.
wow,
Yeah.
we're lucky if we have our crew and maybe a handful of people come to see our original stuff. So I started learning covers at that point because I just loved performing.
Yeah.
But I would really love to get back into writing music again. I would like to try it again.
Well, you know what? You're still young enough. You can, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. James Libera, where you at this weekend? Anywhere before? I know you're New Year's Eve at
New
Kai's.
Year's Eve this weekend. I have a private show on Mike and Mary's house. Good people, really good friends of mine. They've been with me for over 10 years.
Very,
Doing a
very cool.
show on Saturday there, and then New Year's Eve.
Well, man, you do keep doing what you're doing, James. Thank you so much. Keep us posted whenever you're going to do some new stuff that you're doing. Anyway, James
Okay.
Libera, man, check him out. Keep
Thanks,
rocking
Tony.
in the new year, my brother. You have a good one. Happy
You
holidays
too.
and Happy New Year, buddy.
Thank you, Tony. Take
Thank
care.
you. James Libera, everybody. That's right, man. Telling it like it is, playing the music, and make sure you go check him out because he does a variety of stuff: pop, country, rock, opera, George Michael, Elton John, etc., etc., etc. Check it out. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. How about Armando Supermarkets? Buy local, shop local. 925 Liberty Street in Chicago, in Elgin, Illinois. That's Armando Supermarkets. And let's not forget Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair for all your collision auto repair needs. Go to crashchampions.com. You are watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, Monday to Friday. What else are we talking about? Some more headline news. David, how are you doing? Johnny G, what's up, brother? Boyd, it's all who you want to perform. They have their night knots. There you go, Boyd. Good one. General and Jan, the older ones, we spend a lot of money. There you go, brother. Sandra Angento, how you guys doing? Janice and I did more live shows during COVID than we do now. I know you guys run all the time. Debbie, well, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you guys. Diana, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope to see Diana, Saturday at the birthday bash at Ron Onesi's Club Arcata speaking. There's Mr. Ron Starr. Thank you, Ron, yesterday for showing up. And Ron will be with us New Year's Eve at Moretti's in Elgin. Now, folks, it's almost sold out. I think maybe you got 5 tickets left, and it is going to be sold out. It's in Elgin, Moretti's upstairs. The first hour is Ocean's Rat Pack. First 90 minutes, Bill Saratella, Elliot Winbush, yours truly, Frank Dean and Sammy, Jerry Jams. And then after that, we take a little break, and then Tony Ocean and the main event dance band will be rocking the house, dancing all night long with Jerry Jams on DJ. So it'll be a lot of fun. That is New Year's Eve on the 31st of December. Okay, so a lot of stuff to talk about still. Nissan and Honda seems like they're merging, and they're only going to be merging to boost the sale of electric cars. Now, we talked about the electric car stuff. I'm still not too happy with it. Just yesterday on the show, we mentioned that Tesla, 700,000 Cybertruck cars were recalled. The 7th recall for that particular truck this year alone. So I'm not into the whole electric cars thing. I don't believe it yet. Maybe I think it's a good idea, I think if they make sure they get it right, then yeah. But right now, forcing it on everybody is just something that I'm not too crazy about. Robert Kennedy Jr., of course, going to be part of Donald Trump's party team going into 2020. I like he said he wants to ban the advertisement of drugs, drug commercials. He wants to ban them completely from television. I think that's a great idea. How about all those commercials? Well, if you're suffering from, right, take this certain drug, but make sure when you take it, if you're suffering, your hair falling out, your leg falling out, you've got green coming out of your nose, all the side effects that they mentioned while the guy's smiling at the doctor's office or just jogging in the park. Forget those. Get rid of those drug ads, medication ads. Oh, my God. It's crazy, folks. You want to hear something? You know how much I love Christmas and we love the snow. We didn't get snow on Christmas. We got a couple days before. Obviously, there's no snow out there. But in New York City, for the very first time in 15 years, New York City had a white Christmas. So congratulations to New York City for the first time in 15 years. Yeah, then the side effects part of the commercial is longer than the advertisement, right, Richard? Oh my God! If you're green, if you start, shaking and spitting, right, your eyes start. I mean, it's crazy some of that stuff, and then you see the guys talking. It's nuts, absolutely. We talked about Netflix, and we talked about the football on Christmas Day, where you had Netflix, the only way you can see the two games. Beyonce's halftime show, they rated horrible trying to do country. But here's the thing, folks. She got paid $20 million for that halftime show. Now, I don't know if you guys actually watched it. Thank you, James. I appreciate it, buddy. James Libera, make sure you check him out. Go check him out at his shows. JamesLibera.com. You'll find out where he's performing. We shouldn't be the ones to tell our doctor about the new drug. Good idea, Kim Peterson LaFew from In Session in the house, Kimmy. $20 million Beyonce got. $20 million she got to perform the halftime show. She also got $20 million from Kamala Harris, to perform at her thing. That wasn't donated. That wasn't free. She got $20 million too. So $20 million. Wow. What'd she do? 2 songs, a medley, or whatever it was? I don't know. How about the deodorants to keep odors for 72 hours? I despise those commercials too, Albert, with the 72 hours. Yeah. Or how about the other one with that Loom or Loom? Hi, take a little bit of this cream and you can put it in your armpit and you can put it in your, different little spots and you'll smell good all day long. You see that lady talking about, it's called Loom, whatever it is, just a little bit underneath, and it makes you smell so good. Underneath, in your private part. Oh, shut the hell. Oh, that lady drives me crazy on that commercial. Some of these commercials are horrible. Anyway, what else we got, folks? We got a lot of other things to talk about. How about some other gigs we got coming up? We know what we're going to be tonight, Chicago Prime Steakhouse, 8 o'clock with Jerry Jams. Tomorrow, my 62nd birthday bash. And then New Year's Eve will be at Moretti's in Elgin. But we got a couple ones. January 2nd, returning to Zaza's in Lake Barrington. The January 9th will be at Capri, Osteria Capri in Downers Grove. That's Thursday, the 9th of January. On the 11th, Saturday night, will be at Big Sammy's in Plainfield. On the 13th, Bugsy's in McHenry with my good buddy Ryan O'Ryan. And Ocean's Rat Pack will be at the Impact Fuel Room in Libertyville on Friday, January 10th. Ocean's Rat Pack. We had a busy schedule in January, folks. We're actually still pretty busy. Our 2025 is almost booked up. So thank you for everybody, the agents, and everybody working very hard. Yesterday was Thursday night football. Another joke. The Chicago Bears against the Seattle Seahawks. The Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen, the longest losing streak in franchise history, 10 straight losses. Caleb Williams was sacked 7 times. And the Bears lose. Seattle wins 6-3. It was pathetic. It was probably the most pathetic game I've seen or watched some of the highlights since of their whole game, of their whole season. It's pathetic. Pathetic, and I feel sorry for all the Bears fans and the kids who buy the jerseys and really love this team. They stink. You got to get it. It's all over. It's done. Pina, happy birthday. Well, thank you. The best. Well, thank you, Pina. I hope you're doing well, my dear friend. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. We got a few minutes left, and I know you don't want to talk about the Green Bay Packers, folks, but for all the haters out there, here's this one's for you. The Packers are the first team in the NFL history to do all this in a game. 30-plus points shutout, 400 yards plus while allowing under 200. No turnovers, no sacks, and no missed kicks for the Green Bay Packers. I know you're not supposed to talk about the Packers because it's against the Bears. I like the stuff that you sent me. Richard, you sent me some stuff. I didn't even take a look at it, and I just found all this stuff. In 1582, Pope Gregory changed the New Year date from April 1st to January 1st. Some people ignored the change and kept celebrating it on April 1st. They were called fools, and that's what led to tradition of April Fool's Day. So New Year's Day was actually April 1st, and when they changed it, in 1582, turning it to January 1st. Love that stuff. About 47 million years ago, whales had legs and lived both on land and sea. God, I love this history stuff, Richard. Thank you for sending me some of this stuff. And you guys keep sending me stuff all the time. I really do appreciate it. You're watching Ocean. How about Jewish rock stars? I didn't realize this. Jewish rock stars. Let's see. Bob Dylan. Okay. David Lee Roth, Gene Simmons, I knew he was Jewish, yeah, from Kiss. Paul Stanley, Lou Reed, Neil Diamond, Billy Joel, Paul Simon. There you go. Bruce Springsteen, I think, is half. Interesting stuff people send me. I remember celebrating your 30th. Oh, Kathy. Now, how is Nashville doing, Kathy, my dear friend? Yeah, my 30th. It's going way back to Cafe Clemenza, I think, in Hoffman Estates. So, yeah, Craig, I thought you hated the Bears. Why are you watching them? I wasn't watching them, Craig, but thank you for that. People send me the highlights because there's a lot of Bears haters out there, believe it or not, besides me. So they send me all the highlights. So there you go. I don't know why you guys keep watching them, but what do you got? 2 more games? Is it Minnesota and Green Bay? They're going to lose both of those games too. So, Danny Manzi, there you are, brother. Hope to see you Saturday, Danny. Hope to see you, baby. It's going to be fun. That's Armando Supermarkets. Okay, Mariah, you know what? You know, Christmas songs that come on, or different songs in general that you hear, you just get sick of. You know what I mean? Mariah Carey's children say they're sick of hearing her mom's "All I Want for Christmas Is You." Even the kids, even her kids can't stand it when she's singing that song. All right, we're talking about Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, he's dating Taylor Swift. Reportedly, she just had a birthday, and he spent over $175,000 on gifts for Taylor Swift's birthday. I think what I heard last was $19,000 or something was just on flowers. Boy, to have that money. Will Smith denies ever attending a P. Diddy F-off party. And his quote for you to believe him was, "I don't even like baby oil." How do they even know they use baby oil if he wasn't there? That's suspicious. Yeah. Oh, the Bears' last 8 games with healthy Justin Fields, when he was the quarterback before, they had a 5-3 record, 24.5 points per game. The Bears' last games with Caleb Williams, 0-8, 14.75 points per game. Oh, it's horrible what's going on with football, and especially with the Chicago teams. WGN TV News, a man was shot by a 16-year-old Wednesday night while the man was assaulting a woman. So the 16-year-old took it upon himself, took a gun, and shot him. sometimes you just have to take on something yourself when you see something like that. I don't know. Is it worth something happening now? We talked about this before. You see something happening down the street. Do you get involved? Do you go there and try to help somebody, or knowing that you might get hurt? You call the cops come, they arrest them, they let them go. Just crazy. Just crazy. Dennis, hope everyone enjoys the warm weather. January, February, the way. God bless all. Be safe and enjoy the weekend. Dennis, thank you, buddy. I love that song. Karen, you love that song. Well, it's okay for Christmas, but I guess the kids didn't want to hear it anymore. They're sick and tired of it. Her kids. She just loves those checks coming in. ESPN, regardless of everyone's record in the league, the Bears are the worst team in the NFL for the third year in a row, according to ESPN. They got some work to do, folks. Christmas, holidays. How many people you think celebrated Christmas? 2 billion people around the world celebrated Christmas. Today, 2 billion people around the celebrated Christmas, lighting up cities and homes with festive decorations and joyful traditions. Families came together to share delicious meals, exchange gifts, create lasting memories. 2 billion people celebrated Christmas. And we talk about the Christmas, happy holidays. I'm not offended no matter how you say it to me, but I'm just going to always say Merry Christmas. I don't mean to offend anybody. That's just the way it is. That's why I was brought up. So even I'm getting better at it now. I'm going Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, so it just covers the whole realm. But Mariah Carey gets royalties every time the song is played, which her kids will get an inheritance. Right, Craig? I don't think the kids know that. They have no idea that the kids probably going, the more these songs play, the more money you're going to get. So, Craig, right on, my brother. Good point. Happy Kwanzaa. There you go. Thank you, Johnny, for that. And Feliz Navidad. And Bon Natale and all that Merry Christmas stuff. Dutch, Irish, and Italian. Well, thank you, Karen. Well, there you go. You just corrected me there. Thank you very much. I knew he was part of Italian. I think the Dutch thing, but thank you. No, if you look closely, really no one barely protected the quarterback. Yeah. Hey, guys, philosophy people say, I like this. The person who loves black color have the most colorful mind. I wear a lot of black. Johnny Cash wore a lot of black. Not Johnny Carson, I'm sorry. Johnny Cash. So they say the person who loves black color have the most colorful mind. And people say, Tony, when are you going to wear a different color? Well, I've been getting better at it 2 years, adding different colors to jackets and stuff. But I will wear, if black comes up with a darker black, that's the one I'm going to buy. So there you go. Black. Interesting. All right. You got to love this story. The handshake. You and a friend have a handshake. You and your friend make a bet. You and your family member, you and your partner, whoever it is, you make a bet. Shake hands. Whatever it is. Most of the time, you should honor that shake. These guys did. In 1992, French Thomas Cook and Joseph Feeney shook hands on a promise. Either won the Powerball jackpot, they'd split it. 30 years later, Cook won $22 million and honored their agreement, each taking home $5.7 million after taxes. That is cool. How many people watching the show right here shake hands with somebody as a bet, and 30 years later, because they keep playing, and someone, would you tell your friend you won? Would you split it with your friend after you made a deal, or a family member that you made a deal that, yes, if we win, we split? I would. 20 million, they made $5.7 million. They invested right. They never have to work again in their lives. So kudos to those two guys who kept their words, which a lot of times people have a hard time doing that these days. So I'm happy. Good for them, and kudos to anybody that does that. Wow, this is interesting. According to Fox News, the Maha movement is growing. In the last 50 years, 10,000 chemicals were added to the American food supply. Ladies and gentlemen, Fox News, the last 50 years, 10,000 chemicals were added to the American food supply. We talk about this over and over again on the show. We talk about it, how it's the ingredients. I don't know what's going to happen in 2025. I think things are going to be a lot better with the new president, President Trump taking over on January 20th. But I hope things improve all around. Take less sugar out of sodas and food, and just trying to make things a little bit more healthier for the American people. Guys, it's coming to the end of the hour. I want to thank James Libera. Thank you, James. A great entertainer. Make sure you check him out in the Chicagoland area. That's jameslibera.com. And don't forget tonight, Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg. Tomorrow, my 62nd birthday bash. It's going to be a lot of celebrity guys, a lot of great singers in Chicagoland area stopping by. It's going to be fun. 8:30, that show hits. Let's say happy birthday to people December 27th. I'm losing it. John Legend, 45 years old. Denzel Washington, 69 years old. Stan Lee, for all you comic book fans celebrating the birthday. China, for you wrestling fans celebrating the birthday. Goldberg, 57 years old. Barbara Mandel, for you country fans celebrating the birthday. Ryan Seacrest, Ricky Martin, celebrating the birthday. Cab Calloway would have been 100 years old. Paul Michael Glazer, Starsky and Hutch, 87 years old. Tony Ocean, 62 years old. Tomorrow, getting old, folks. Seth Meyers turns 50 years old. Former President Woodrow Wilson celebrating a birthday. Gail King, Oprah's partner. Whatever. 69 years old. Stunning Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 60 years old, everybody. It is birthdays, a lot of fun. Crazy for December 27th. Guys, I want to thank our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Norridges, Plains, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and Mesa, Arizona. Download the Ace Rewards app. Easy way to keep track of your points, coupons, and special offers. Ace is the place, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Guys, I want you to have an incredible weekend. Go out and support local establishments, support live entertainment. Be kind to one another. Come together, as John Lennon says. We need it now more than ever in this world. Come together. If you have a beef right now, call them up. Text them, him or her. Crush the beef. Try to end it. Life is too short. Go out. It's just crazy. And Ringo Starr would say, peace and love. We need it now more than ever in this crazy world. Share the show, everybody. And thank you for supporting local entertainment. Thank you for watching Ocean's Pit, a little show about big things. We're back here on Monday, 30th of December. Will be the last show of 2024. God bless everybody. Nick Sahajas, hope you're feeling better if you're watching. Nick and Phyllis, hope you guys are feeling better out there. Bye-bye, everybody. God bless you all. Nick Sahajas, take us out. Have a great
time to go. It's the end of the show. See you later from town.
Bye-bye, everybody.